Hello. Today we will be reviewing the course selections for Wood Creek Junior High students that will be entering the 7th grade in the 2015-2016 school year. I'm Mrs. Robinson, your counselor, and I'll be reviewing this presentation with you. So, are you confused about what's to come in 7th grade? Maybe you're wondering what new electives will be offered or what classes you'll be able to take outside of your normal classes. So today, we're going to review the courses offered at Wood Creek Junior High. You're also going to complete the course request worksheet, sign and return to your social studies teacher, and then if you have any additional questions, you will come to the counselor's office and feel free to ask me anything that you need. So, as some of you may know, when choosing your core classes, and that would be your English, reading, math, science, and social studies, there are 3 degrees of difficulty. The first we're going to review is academic. Now, academic classes are for everyone. They are on grade level. They give you more time to review concepts. There's also more tutoring provided, and it prepares students for college as well as other post-secondary education. The other 2 degrees are pre-AP and gifted and talented, and we will review those on the next slide. The pre-AP guidelines are as follows. These courses typically move at a faster pace. They are more academically challenging, and they require more independent learning. They also require more homework than academic courses. This is important to note if you plan on being involved in extracurricular activities, maybe band, orchestra, choir, theater, athletics, or maybe you're involved in things outside of school. Just remember that your homework will be significantly more in pre-AP classes, and I want you to account for that when choosing your classes. So the entry guidelines for pre-AP, we strongly recommend an 85 or higher in your current core classes. So currently, looking at maybe your last report card or progress reports, reviewing those, and we want to make sure on average you had an 85 or higher in a class that you're thinking about taking at a pre-AP level. There's also a teacher recommendation that would be helpful but not required. So if you're on the fence and maybe you and your parents are unsure, maybe you took academic this year and you want to know if you think you can handle it, or maybe you took pre-AP and you struggled and you're wondering what 7th grade pre-AP would be like, we strongly suggest that you talk to your current teacher in that subject and see what they recommend. And then also review your STAR scores. So maybe if you struggled and you struggled to pass your STAR in the past, then that might not be a subject that you want to focus on the pre-AP level at this point. The 3rd degree of difficulty is our gifted and talented, and as some of you know, all GT courses are based on pre-AP curriculum. This is why our pre-AP and GT are in shared classrooms. Now, there is differentiated instruction for the GT students, so that is why and how we are able to service those students while still being in a pre-AP class. It is important for you to know that GT course placement requires the student to meet specific Katy ISD screening criteria. So, if you are not currently GT in that specific subject, you cannot sign up for GT for 7th grade in that subject. If you're currently being screened, you will need to wait until we get results before you can go into a GT class. So for the time being, if you're being screened this semester, go ahead and wait and just sign up for pre-AP until we get information from our GT coordinator. Okay, core curriculum. So we're going to go through the core classes and what's offered. In English and reading, as we discussed, there are really 3 options, but 2 main for those students who are not identified as GT, and those are pre-AP or academic. So when choosing these classes, you will need to note that they are blocked. So if you are thinking about doing English pre-AP, you must do reading pre-AP. And the same if you're doing English academic, you have to do reading academic. You can't do one pre-AP and one academic. If you do decide to take English and reading pre-AP, you do need to know that there is a summer reading assignment that is required for that class. Also, students who are currently in GT English and reading, next year GT is combined ELA and it's one class period. So those students will get an additional elective that they will get to choose. The next 3 core classes are math, social studies, which will be covering Texas history as the 7th grade, and science. As with English and reading, you have the option of choosing pre-AP or academic. Those students who are GT will choose GT on their course selection. And again, and I'm going to continue to repeat, if you are currently being screened, you need to go ahead and just pick pre-AP for that class, and then we will make the adjustment if you do qualify for GT. Now, with math, if you are in pre-AP as a 6th grader in math, then you will go into 7th grade pre-AP math. For my 6th grade academic students, just a reminder, 7th grade pre-AP is the rest of 7th grade math and then all of 8th grade. So if you did not take 6th grade pre-AP math, then you would have missed a nice portion of math and it will be very hard for you to catch up. So I do want you to think about that when signing up for your classes. And then again, social studies and science, you have the option of picking academic, pre-AP, or GT. Now, physical education. This is the fun stuff that everybody gets excited about. And now that you're going to be a 7th grader, you can take athletics. Now, athletics is based on tryouts only. So this is very important for many of you who want to scratch through PE on your course selection sheet and go ahead and write in athletics. Everyone will go into PE for the time being. The coaches will determine your placement and you will have to try out. So only coaches can put you into athletics. Everybody will go into PE until a coach tells us if we need to move your schedule into athletics. So the electives that are offered. We have the same electives. We have fine arts, under fine arts, which are art, band, choir, orchestra, and theater. Now, new electives offered to 7th graders will be career portals, and that's family and consumer science. So similar to a home economics class. And we have videos on that later on. Publication. So if you're interested in doing yearbook, you will need to turn in an application from Mrs. Montalvo, who's currently our Spanish teacher, and those applications are due on March 4th. Spanish 1 Part 1. So this is not for high school credit, but in order to take Spanish 1 Part 2 in the 8th grade, which is high school credit, you do have to take and pass this class. Now the next 2 electives, although listed, I'm going to go ahead and strike through, are not offered at Wood Creek Junior High. So we're going to go ahead and skip down to the final elective, which is technology applications. So if you're interested in working on the computer and becoming more computer savvy, working on your computer skills, this will be a great class for you to look into.